What's up guys, my name is Stoody. I'd like to welcome you all back to another video. And in today's video I'm going to be doing my AFL Round 24 tips for the 2025 AFL season. Thank fuck we have reached the last round. I'm really sick of the AFL at this point. I mean, the match fixing has just gotten really bad over the last few weeks. And it's only going to get worse as we get into finals because they're trying to make sure the teams they want winning the flag or wanting to get far in the finals do win. So this is where the match fixing gets really, really bad. But anyway, I hope you all had a decent weekend. Mine was okay. It was hit and miss. So on Saturday, I went to the Hawthorn versus Melbourne game. So the reason why I went to that game is because, my sister reckons she's a Hawthorn supporter. So, yeah, that's the main reason why I went. I went with her. Sat near the Melbourne cheer squad, which was pretty interesting. Obviously not in the bay of the Melbourne cheer squad. I was in the bay next to it. So basically there was only a handful of Hawthorn supporters around, but it was mostly like Melbourne dominant, that area. I was expecting Hawthorn fans to be really, really feral. Well, they are really, really feral. I'm sure there was plenty of ferals around on Saturday, but at least in the area I was sitting, they weren't really feral at all. It was this one Melbourne fan who was incredibly feral. So basically, in the third quarter, this dickhead sitting a few rows in front of us, he starts going off his head, just talking a whole bunch of shit, swearing, all that sort of thing. I actually agree with most of the things he was saying about Hawthorn, but he was just being a real dickhead about it. There was kids around, that sort of thing. He needed to calm the fuck down. So basically, my sister wanted me to clock this guy because he was really pissing her off. Like, this guy was pissing off a lot of the Hawthorn fans that were around. Only the few Hawthorn fans that were around. But, I'd be pissed off as well because, he's running his mouth like a massive dickhead, that sort of thing. This one Hawthorn fan told him to shush, which I found fucking hilarious. And this guy turns around saying, "Who told me to shush? Don't fucking tell me to shush." That sort of shit, which was really fucking funny as fuck. The thing is, technically, he's allowed to yell out shit at the game. But he was just being a real dickhead about it. And he probably shouldn't be swearing when you do that. So, yeah, the person that told him to shush wasn't exactly in the right. Because, he paid for his ticket, I suppose, you could say. Not for that area, though, as I'm about to get into. But, yeah, if you pay for your ticket, you're allowed to support your team or yell out shit as long as it's, appropriate. Not crossing the line or whatever. So basically what happened, obviously people reported him to the antisocial fucking thing. So basically this guy was saying to the Hawthorn supporters, right, you guys shouldn't be here, the Hawthorn cheer squad's at the other end and all this other shit. And it's like, that, none of them were sitting in the cheer squad, they were sitting in the bay next to the cheer squad. But so technically they are fucking allowed to sit there. They all had their reserved seats there. I had my reserved seat there. The main reason why I sat there is because it was the cheapest bay in level 1. I didn't want to pay fucking $80 to go to the other side and possibly deal with some Hawthorn ferals. Or I could have went to level 4 for $40, but fuck that. Or there was general admission tickets for $27, which is what this guy actually had. So basically, I didn't know, he didn't start yelling out shit till the third quarter. Apparently he didn't actually come down until the third quarter. I didn't realise that. I just assumed he decided to start running his mouth after half time because he was salty. So basically, the MCG staff came up to him. They asked to check his ticket, all that sort of thing. They found out he only has general admission tickets. He does not have a reserved seat where he was sitting. So they told him to move, basically. And it wasn't because he was yelling out shit and all that. I knew they wouldn't kick him out for that, but because he wasn't sitting in the correct seat, that's why they told him to move. So he was arguing with them on the steps for quite a few minutes. He eventually fucked off. It's a good thing that he moved because, if he had said the wrong thing to my sister, I would have knocked him out. My sister was actually asking me to clock him. So, yeah, it probably would have happened had he have not fucked off when he did. But yeah, that was pretty fucking entertaining, I'll tell you that. Even though it was a pretty boring game overall, that was the entertaining part. And then the next morning, went shopping. Some more entertainment there. How every now and then there's like there's naughty kids in the shops or whatever. It was pretty fucking funny. Like, the mother was threatening to punch them in their noses, threatening to take them to the police station, all this other shit. I'm just trying not to fucking laugh my ass off hearing all of that. It was pretty funny, but then the weekend went to shit when Richmond got severely fucked over against North Melbourne. And then I started getting harassed on YouTube, which is why I'm really looking forward to this season ending. So, yeah, and I'm really looking forward to having a break from YouTube, honestly. I cannot fucking wait. But anyway, before we get into this week's tips, let's go ahead and see how it went last week. So last week I got 8 out of 9 tips correct, which now moves me up to 163 tips in total for the season. So here are the ones I got correct and the ones I got incorrect. So these are the ones I got correct. I tipped St Kilda to defeat Essendon. I tipped Fremantle to defeat Brisbane. However, that game was pretty obviously rigged. I mean, you don't even need to watch it to know that was rigged. That's just a severely unrealistic result. So that game does count as correct. I tipped Carlton to defeat Port Adelaide. I tipped Hawthorn to defeat Melbourne. I tipped Collingwood to defeat Adelaide. However, that game was severely fucking rigged. Collingwood was severely robbed in that one, so that does count as a correct tip. I tipped Richmond to defeat North Melbourne, and Richmond was severely fucked over by the match fixing as well in that game, so that also does count as a correct tip. I tipped Geelong to defeat Sydney, and I tipped Western Bulldogs to defeat West Coast, and that means that the only one I got incorrect was that I tipped Gold Coast to defeat the GWS Giants. Pretty good to see Gold Coast lose that, pretty funny. But anyway, let's get into this week's tips. Very last round, thank fuck. So another bullshit Thursday night game. I'm really getting sick of these bullshit Thursday night games. We have the Druggendon Bummers taking on the Carl Scum Poos at the MCG. I'm going to be tipping Carl Scum in this one by 23 points. Carl Scum will have a bit of confidence after their really big win against Port Adelaide. So Essendon, they haven't won a game, and they're on an 11-game losing streak, I think. So they'll be very, very desperate to get a win before the season ends. Because it's been a very long time since they've won. But, I mean, can they get it done? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually do pull off the upset in this one, Druggendon. But I just can't see. I just think Carl Scum will be too good. Moving on to Friday night, we have the Collywobble Fagpies taking on the Melbourne D Lovers at the MCG. I'm going to tipping the Collywobbles in this one by 52 points. The Collywobbles will be very pissed off after getting severely fucked over against the Adelaide Crom last week. So I just think the Collywobbles will just flog Melbourne. They're basically tanking at this point anyway, so this is a pretty easy tip, really. Again, and why the fuck is there 2 bullshit Friday night games? Like, who the fuck thinks of this shit? But we have Port Adelaide week taking on the Gold Coke Cunts. So I'm going to be tipping Gold Coke in this one by 37 points. The Cunts are going to be pretty desperate to try and make their first final series in history. Not only that, Andrew Dillon is going to be severely protecting the Cunts in this one, making sure they get the job done. Because, he's a Gold Cunt supporter and he sponsors the Cunts. So, yeah, be sure to sign up the petition to get him sacked from the AFL. I've just had fucking enough of him, honestly. He can go fuck himself. Moving on to Saturday afternoon, we have the Snort Dogbin Poos taking on the Adelaide Cows. I'm going to be tipping Adelaide in this one by 200 points. Snort, they're severely fucking protected by the match fixing. As always, that's the only reason they ever get any wins. But they're the shittest team in the league. I mean, the Cows are going to bend them over, put their big throbbing cocks inside of their assholes, and they're going to fucking molest Snort Dogbin so fucking bad it's going to be a world record. So, yeah, fuck Snort Dogbin. Moving on to Saturday Twilight. I will be going to this game, I think. I don't know if I even feel like it, but I'll still go to it just because it's the last game of the year. and just because there's one certain team that I have not seen live, and I've seen all other teams live, so that'll tick off the last team. We have Richmond taking on the Shitlong Fats at the MCG. I'm going to be tipping the Fats in this one, but I rigged them out. It's the only way they can ever get any wins. I told you fucking idiots that Jeremy Cameron would not get close to 100 goals, so suck a fucking fat one, you dirty fucking dog. This game, it's going to be rigged and all that other shit. I just cannot wait for it to end. Moving on to Saturday night, we have the Meth Choke E-Girls taking on the Shitney Period Bloods at Optus Stadium. I'm going to be tipping Shitney in this one by 78 points. Meth Choke are just fucking pathetic. They really fucking are. And Shitney, they got a pretty good win against, who was it, Brisbane a couple of weeks ago. Probably got robbed against Geelong, I don't fucking know. I don't watch shit games, rigged games. But yeah, I just think last game of the year they'll want to produce a flogging, and that's exactly what the Period Bloods will do. Moving on to Sunday afternoon, we have the BWS Midgets taking on the St. Shitka Snakes at NG Stadium. I'm going to be tipping BWS in this one by 48 points. They've basically locked in a final spot, probably a slight chance of making top 4, so they'll make sure they get that done to give themselves a chance, I guess. Can't really see St. Shitka winning this. They'll probably just be basically tanking for draft picks at this point, as most teams outside the 8 would be. Moving on to the other Sunday afternoon game, we have the Worston Bullfrogs taking on the Fremantle Shockers at Marvel Stadium. I am going to be tipping Fremantle in this one by 15 points. The Bullfrogs, they're just a bunch of frauds, really. They're known to choke, and they're going to choke on Sunday. Fremantle will be making finals. The Bullfrogs will not. I can 100% guarantee you that. Fremantle was severely rogued last week against Brisbane, so they'll be very pissed off about that. So I'm expecting female to get the job done and to expose the frauds in the Bullfrogs once again. Moving on to Sunday night, we have the Brisbane Lions taking on the Dorkthorn Whores at the Gabba. I'm going to be tipping Brisbane in this one by 32 points. That's a Brisbane. Will be desperate to make the top 4. Against the Whores, they should be able to get the job done at the Gabba. The Whores weren't really that impressive last week. It was only Melbourne. They only won by 36 points. And they had Gunston carrying them. Gunston's not going to be able to carry them every fucking game. So they need to find some more goals from someone else, Which is going to be difficult because, they've got some pretty useless fucking players in their forward line. Watson, Ginnivan, those sort of spuds. But yeah, so I think Brisbane will get the job done at home. Home ground advantage is always massive. Moving on to the rescheduled match from opening round, the Cyclone game. It's on Wednesday night. We have the Gold Coke Cunts taking on the Druggenden Bummers at Metricon Stadium. Going to be tipping the Cunts in this one by 83 points. By this point, they probably have finals locked due to match fixing mainly. So the Druggos will basically just be tanking for draft picks at this point. To be honest, I think Melbourne might have their draft picks. I don't know. It's either them or Melbourne that have both the draft picks. I can't fucking remember, but look, this will be an obvious tip here. The Cunts will win this one. But anyway, so I don't know if I'm going to do finals tips this year. I don't know if I can be fucked, but I probably will, because they'll be shorter videos. They'll be quicker, easier to make. So yeah, I probably will anyway. But yeah, thank you all for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment for more content like this. Be sure to become a channel member. Just join my next my name. Also, be sure to subscribe to my other YouTube channels. Be sure to subscribe to my podcast channel, King's Days of Stoody. Also, be sure to subscribe to my second YouTube channel, Stoody Archives. Links to both of those are in the description. Also, be sure to join my Discord server, East Coast Australian Sports Community. Link to that is in the description. Also, be sure to follow me on my other social media accounts. I have Instagram, I have Twitter, I also have TikTok. The username for my Instagram is Stoody on YT, and the usernames for my Twitter and TikTok are StoodyYT. Links to all of those will also be in the description. I hope you had a good day, and I'll see you all in the next video.